rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't see any changes to the agenda, so can I get it approved?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Open forum, if anybody would like to speak. All right, we're on the consent agenda. Approval of minutes, approval of bills, purchase orders, investments, there's a tobacco license. There's a donation resolution, and that is, let's see here. It is 2024-11. First installment from the Melrose Lions on the 2023 pledge for the playground equipment for the Sock River Park. And the second resolution is 2024-12 resolution amount of $5,000 from Harvey to the Melrose Fire Department for the new future ladder truck. Any other questions? Okay, get a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It is 6:04. We have a public hearing, 3-2 liquor license for Quick Trip, Inc., DBA Quick Trip Store number 1215. It was printed in the paper. Who wants to talk to that?
I can, maybe. It's just basically what they're asking for is to be able to have a 3-2 malt liquor license. We are required by statute to have a public hearing according to City Code Chapter 113 Liquor Regulations. The regulations require this public hearing. Again, you present the affidavit of publication. Quick Trip has submitted their information to us, Patty Hazy, City Clerk, and they have their information. So their application is valid, and we, as staff, recommend approval of the license later on, I believe, on the agenda.
Is there any, it's an open forum, if anybody would like to comment or say anything about it? All right, it is 6:06. We're going to close the public hearing without any questions. We are on to reports. Police Department monthly report.
Good evening. January 2024, our traffic area we had 15 citations, 55 verbal warnings, 12 written warnings. This year we had 323 calls and requests for service. Last year was 253. We're up by 70 calls for the year and for the month, so stronger start than last year. 14 agency assists, being pretty consistent there. A good chunk of the increase was related rental inspections. We have a few left here in February, but otherwise those have been going pretty well. Very few issues with the properties that we inspected this year, so it's been good to see. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Chief. Then, city attorney report, you didn't have much going on.
Nothing to report.
Thank you for saving us money, Scott, appreciate it. Okay, community development director?
We want to thank the council for a very productive work session that we had on February 6th. We were able to cover several topics in greater detail, and we got some really good direction on how to move forward. Matter reviewed and got an update on the council meeting. They're looking forward to a meeting with the council to discuss further some of the topics. As promised last month, at this month's meeting, we're going to request action on a rezoning request. The Planning and Zoning Commission on February 26th will hold a public hearing on a conditional use permit for the same parcel. Riverside Flats held its first open house on Friday, February 2nd, and with really strong attendance. There are additional open houses coming up, the first Fridays in March. And he's waiting a couple of weeks, and then when the next open houses happen, the cabinets will be in. So that's why he's waiting a couple of weeks until there's a little further progress on the apartments. And we've had some really good discussions at City Center the last couple of weeks with businesses who are planning projects to expand in Melrose and others who are looking for spaces to come to Melrose. And we're connecting people who have spaces to people who want spaces. And there's some really exciting possibilities. So we want to continue to welcome businesses, residents, and developers to keep reaching out and see what we can put together. And for anybody who's interested on the apartments on the west side, there is a website now. Just Google Wabagon Crossings Melrose, and you will get all the information on the west side apartments. And they have a new website available, so.
Thank you,
Thank you, Sheila. I don't see our city engineer.
I can take a little bit of his report. Dave is not able to be here this evening, however, design continues on the Main Street project. We are at 90% complete. Sanitary sewer is done, water main is done, street and storm sewer are at about 90%. We did find some non-typical grades on the storm sewer, so some backflow. And so we're trying to confirm the best replacement strategies for that particular system. We're hoping to advance to the council in the March meeting, the bids, and our tentative schedule right now is to advertise for bids through March 13th. Open bids and provide summary to the council at the regular meeting on March 21st. Hoping to get a grant announcement between March 25th to March 29th, and then hoping to get the bids awarded on April 18th. The open house was held and that had a good crowd at it. Residents of West 5th Avenue have the asphalt roadway in place for most of the summer, so just so you're aware of that. They'll only remove the pavement of this portion of the roadway when the utilities on the east side of the project are completed. So, so you're aware of it, that's where we're at. We have already let the bid for County Roads 168, and we are anticipating that that will start hopefully shortly. I think that's sort of the plan at this time.
Yeah. Alright, is there any questions? And then on claim to your city administrator report.
Yep. So, I have several things on the agenda later on, but just one thing I did want to talk about in my informational items. There's been some, things that have gained traction, I guess, in recent weeks on various articles in the Star Tribune related to Minnesota as a sanctuary state for immigrants. I do not have additional information. However, the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities has heard from several of their members. What I've heard from the legislature is it doesn't seem to have a lot of support. I think there's some confusing documentation about what it's really all about, and I think some of the stuff that's been written about it is probably not, very 100% accurate, let's just say. So if there is anything that comes, I will certainly make you aware of that. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, the rest of my report is later on, or the rest of my items are later on the agenda.
Okay. We're on the action items. The first action item is the council to consider issuing of an off-sale 3-2 malt liquor license for the remaining period of 2024 and the renewal period for March 1st, 2024 to March 1st, 2025, contingent on receipt necessary. This would be for Clear Trip. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carried. And we're on to ordinance number 2-15-24, an ordinance amending the City of Melrose zoning ordinance number 1989-1A as amended and adopted by reference as code of 153 of the City of Melrose Code of Ordinance to rezone parcel number from R2 residential to an industrial. Anybody want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting held on January 29th, the commission held a public hearing at this request of Mike Uso to rezone this parcel. So the parcel is located between I-94 and Craft Drive. It is mostly wetland. It has been zoned R2. The request is to zone it industrial, and like I said, it will be a conditional use permit coming up next month on this. The plan is to put a billboard on that property. The property to the north is Carson's, which is industrial, and then we have Harlan Hector's storage sheds, which are also industrial on the other side. So the council tonight is being asked to consider approving ordinance number 02-15-2024, approving the rezone request for this parcel.
Any questions or concerns? All right, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carried. Police Department policy. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, Craig?
So we added portion to one of our restraint policies, I believe is what I was listed under. I have to look at it, bear in mind with me, but we added a restraint system, which allows us to put combative subjects into basically kind of like a burrito, as well as people maybe that are having mental health crisis, so we can transport them safely to where they need to go. It's a padded system for the most part. It restricts their movement so that they can't thrash around in an ambulance or in a squad car or something like that, to prevent injuries and that sort of thing, as well as it prevents injuries to the officers when they're dealing with them. So we'll be training on it after the policy's approved. Some of us have had the training already. It's just a matter of getting everybody on board. And we did purchase some additional units with the public safety money, so each squad will have one in them now instead of just having one for the office to share.
Was there any questions on it at all? All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And then advertising for the bid of 2024 street project.
So as I indicated when I gave the engineer's report, I went through the timelines on that. So at this point, we're asking the council to give consideration authorizing staff to advertise for bids once the designs by SEH for the Main Street project are complete.
Okay. Was there any concerns with it, council?
No, we were administering the contract, correct?
We are, yep. We have meetings coming up with the county over the next couple of weeks, but we are doing all the administration of the contract, yep.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Temporary summer seasonal worker.
So historically, the city hires a seasonal part-time worker to assist with the summer workload. Streets Park Supervisor Andrew Rusling is requesting approval to hire a temporary summer seasonal worker on an as-needed basis to assist with lawn and park maintenance, cleaning, etc. A portion of the wages are paid from the utility fund, therefore staff is requesting commission approval of the hiring, a portion are paid from the utility fund, so the PUC has already approved that. We're asking for the council to take action on this as well.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
Second?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. GIS intern.
So I'm requesting approval to hire a summer GIS intern position, and this would be to assist all departments. It is proposed to be a 384-hour position at the temporary seasonal pay scale. We did have a GIS intern last year. They worked exclusively in the water wastewater department. We are simply asking for somebody to work with all our departments.
All right.
Public Utilities did approve this at their last regular meeting.
Yep. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. Police officer hire.
We have done interviews for a replacement police officer position after Officer Dave Bonfield left. We had a committee of 4 of us on there listed in your packet. We made a job offer to a Kaylin Rayner. She did accept the job position. We are currently working on backgrounds and those sorts of things. We're probably about 85% complete on all that. So pending council approval and a couple other things, we are hoping to have her here by mid-March and up and running by summer. That's the goal.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Receptionist building permit tech.
So on Wednesday, February 7th, interviews were conducted for the receptionist building permit tech position. We had 30 applicants for this position. So the interview committee was myself, Finance Director Ryan Meyer, Community Development Director Sheila Hellerman, Police Office Assistant Stephanie Perez, and Human Resource Generalist Doris Reeland. It is the committee's recommendation to hire Miss Alexandra Evenson at step 1 at the reception building permit tech wage schedule. And she is accepted.
30 applicants.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
that's awesome, yeah. She has accepted the position upon favorable, obviously, background checks and the council to give consideration of her hire. That's what I'm recommending at this time, to approve the hiring of Miss Alexandra Evenson at step 1 of the receptionist building permit tech wage schedule.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. On to old business, flag discussion. I know I brought this up last month by people that have visited with me about this. I actually had another person talk to me yesterday that they agreed that shouldn't let the state, do this. But I did have one citizen, tell me that they did like the state seal, you know, but they weren't, you know, didn't like the flag. So in my own personal opinion, I just think we should send a resolution down to the state. That the process, for me, the process that they went through this, I don't feel is acceptable. If you're taking something away that's been here since 1859, I think it should be something that should be voted on by the people, not just by non-elected officials. It should be voted on by the representatives or by the citizens. Especially when you have a flag that everybody was able to vote on, it went from 10 down to 6, down to 3. And all of a sudden, the final one was a total different design and wasn't even part of it. I just think that there's leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I've seen, like I said, I've had a couple people visit with me after we talked about this, and I was just wondering if, have your opinions.
Yep, no, wholeheartedly agree. I can send a resolution. I think that's fine. It will, everybody knows it will go nowhere. It will have zero effect. I would like to, just in this idea, to throw it out there, either fly the old flag at City Hall, because there's no law stating what flag we have to fly. They're just claiming that this is the new state flag, correct? So either that, or we fly the South Dakota state flag in front of City Hall as a protest. Because I think a lot of our values align a lot closer with South Dakota than the laws that they're passing down at the Capitol right now. So that's my perspective.
Mr. Mayor and council members, I was able to find some information on the state website regarding the new flag and seal. It will become official May 11th. I don't know by definition what official means. And it sounds like by January 2025, they're expecting that places again fly it, but there's not necessarily, that we don't have additional information. Yeah.
Yes.
Cross that bridge.
Cross that bridge. But council was just wondering if you would support a resolution for something like this or not.
Yeah, my full support.
Not supported.
Does.
Okay. You wanna make a motion on that? For a
Draft something
resolution?
up.
Do you wanna have one, we don't have a resolution.
We have a
to prepare
sample in our
one.
packet. We don't have one. We can bring one back if you would like.
Yes.
Okay.
And if we have any special meetings, we should put that on there if we can get it on right away.
Yep.
I would suggest that we do that. I know, I think it was either Fairmont or something, did it 2 nights ago also, and there was another city that just did it here too. So then, if that's the case, motion to proceed with the resolution.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. On to new business. Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities.
So we're in the legislative session. I just wanted to give you guys a, what the, the legislature has started fast and furious, similar to how they did last year. And so we are members of both the Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities as well as the League of Minnesota Cities. The Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities obviously represents us, as it says. The League represents us as well. I just want to briefly touch on what the priorities are for those organizations. Water infrastructure, this is a bonding year, and so water infrastructure needs major investment, and that's something that continues to remain a high priority for both the League as well as the Coalition. It's not just water infrastructure, it's all types of infrastructure, but in this year in particular, it seems like clean water and water infrastructure has really risen to the top at this point. Emergency medical services, rural emergency medical services has become a very big issue, particularly in Greater Minnesota, because it really is unsustainable the way it is. Now, we are a shining example of an exception to that rule here in Melrose, but for the majority of rural EMS providers, it's very difficult to be able to maintain those types of services, but it's also very necessary to have those services. So that is something that we are looking at asking the coalition is asking the legislature to help with, whether it's aid or something, some other form of fashion, but that is definitely something that they're looking at right now. The legislature is strongly being encouraged to take a break from major new policies. As we know, last year they passed a lot of things, and the coalition really has said, look, it's a bonding year, stick with the basics, make sure you get done what you need to get done when it comes to infrastructure in particular. In Greater Minnesota, that is our highest priority, and we're asking you to really kind of stay away from some of these policy, philosophical things, and really stick with the infrastructure. So that's on the coalition side. On the League of Minnesota City side, again, echoing what the coalition said, and that is that the league supports a substantial bonding bill for water, wastewater, roads, bridges, housing, the basics, basic things. They also have as one of their priorities the emergency medical services, delivery and sustainability of that. Local government aid, the League of Minnesota City says, yes, you went pretty far in 23 to provide that local government aid, but it's not at the place where it really should be from an inflationary standpoint. So they're going to be pushing forward to get additional LGA. Housing continues to be a major issue for both the CMGC as well as LGA. So one of the other big things that's happening at the legislative level is they're trying to introduce particularly aggressive zoning, parking types of things that would hinder local control in cities about how we go about planning our communities. And that is something that both the League and the Coalition are very strongly opposed to. There was one that was introduced today, I believe, and it's not something that's sustainable for Greater Minnesota. It might be something that works in urban areas, but we're very different from urban areas, and so we're really saying, we've done a good job locally, let us keep our local control as to how we deal with that. When they passed the adult use cannabis, there were some things that they really didn't think about, and so therefore, one of the things that the LGA is saying is they'd like to see the local government have a cannabis aid type of fund. School resources officers has been an issue. I think there was a clarification that was needed relative to that, and that's one of the priorities as well. The other thing, again, is public safety duty disability is also another area that was something that was passed last year, and again, there needs to be more efforts to expand what the definition is along with how it's funded long-term. So that's really in a nutshell what we're looking at from a legislative level. I will say both the League of Minnesota Cities and Coalition has some of the best lobbyists I've ever seen work on behalf of communities. They have just stellar teams. They're willing to answer any of our questions, always willing to have communities go down there and testify for various things. Just really good organizations that I think do a great service to us as Melrose. So that is all I have.
All right. Then a collection service provider, like Ryan, you wanna?
Oh, yeah, the city currently sends our bills that have reached their time limit for collections down to RCB Collections. During the conversion with our new ambulance billing provider, they made us aware that they also offer a collection service as well. There's a general interest between like Stacy and I trying to keep things separate. It'd be nice to keep things separate, so I grabbed quotes right away from both of them. The quote from RCB Collection amounts to 10% of the bill if collected within the first 30 days, and then it increases after that, where Lifeline Collections is just a 20% fee flat across the board no matter when they collect. So I was just looking to see if it would be okay with the council if we would be able to keep everything separate between the two billing companies by using two different billing providers, or collection providers.
Yeah, I'll see no problem.
Whatever works well.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Then you want us to make a motion with that then?
I think we should.
Okay.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, we're on to informational items, Public Utility Commission meetings. I did have one quick question on the Quick Trips grand opening. Are they considering the grand opening on March 13th, 2024?
So they're opening their doors at 5 AM on the 29th.
Yeah.
But they're doing the formal corporate people come out, take a picture and snip the ribbon.
Oh, okay.
The update we got this afternoon is it's actually gonna be on Thursday, March 14th. But yes, that is the formal ribbon cutting with the corporate people.
Okay.
I sent her email back.
Yep.
Confirming the date, cause I was told the 13th and now the email says the 14th, so.
Yep.
I can give you that update.
It's from 10 to 12, the ribbon cutting is at 11 on the 14th of
I
March.
did send that out to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to get the meeting.
Yes,
I guess I'd probably hold off until we get confirmation that the date, like I said, the one I was told was the 13th, but the email says the 14th, so.
The last one I got was the 31st, or I mean 29th, so, yeah, so there was,
Yeah, so they're opening for business, but this is where the,
great.
If you wanna be on the picture,
if you wanna go.
be in the picture.
Yeah, I had sent her an email because normally the chamber helps out with that, and I hadn't gotten an email back from her yet, so then I got yours, and I was like, okay.
Well, and they had sent it to, they didn't even send it to Sheila or Patty or me, it was sent to Stacy. I mean, that's fine, but it was just
Yeah,
that.
so I don't know.
All right, unless there's anything else, can I get a motion to?
Just a reminder that, Mr. Gary Mittendorf's last day with the city will be February 29th. He is retiring after 40+ years.
I don't see him here. Chose not to come. Yeah, I can't believe you wanted to miss the last meeting. You didn't miss.
Let the rookie take it over. Oh, we're glad you're here. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Um,